Want to know the quickest way you can absolutely destroy your graphic design career? It's actually simpler than you think. Just follow these 6 steps and you'll be well on your way to failure. But stick around, as I'm not only going to show you what they are, but also how you can flip the script and thrive instead of failing. So let's dive in. Step 1 is something you may very well be guilty of, and that is to refuse to learn anything new. But who needs to adapt, right? I mean, why learn something like Figma when Adobe Illustrator has worked fine for decades? But here's the thing, graphic design tools and resources are evolving every single year. Staying stagnant is like trying to design a billboard with Microsoft Paint. But here's a tip. Pick just one tool or one skill this year that scares you a little bit. Maybe it's learning 3D design or mastering motion graphics. It might seem intimidating to you right now, but future you will thank you for sure. And if you don't try to learn new things, trust me, you're going to be left behind faster than you can say drop shadow. Okay, real quick, I've got to show you something that's completely blown my graphic design mind. This thing actually exists, and so we should take a look and also talk about it. Now, if you've not heard of Recraft just yet, it's a powerful image generation editing tool like nothing I've seen before. I've been testing it out, and what they've just launched, Recraft version 3, is truly next level. Now, Recraft V3 isn't just another AI tool. It's ranked #1 on the Hugging Face text-to-image benchmark, outpacing all the big names in the industry such as Midjourney, Stability AI, and Black Forest Labs, to name a few. And with Recraft, you can input text prompts and have full confidence that it's going to fulfill them precisely as intended. So for example, we can have 3 red balls and 2 blue cubes on a table. Most AIs will have anomalies or issues, but not here. And also there is a nice scope for choice of style when utilizing the text to design feature, which helps your results become ever more on point. Now, the new features are where things get really interesting. With the graphic design generator, you can control text size and placement with pinpoint accuracy. And the inpainting and outpainting options make editing your designs and results a breeze. So there's no more trying to squeeze in that perfect tagline. You're going to get it right the very first time. And the way it handles typography is just like no other AI I've ever seen before. I've also explored the vector generator and mockup tools, and they're all about speed and creative control, which is really important with AI. And Recraft lets you handle everything from complex layouts to fine-tuning images, and that's on an infinite canvas with real-time collaboration. And this thing isn't just about templates, it's pro-level design at your fingertips. And you can check out Recraft via the link down below and use my code Satori12 for a $12 discount. But let's talk about the next mistake, and this one is a silent career killer. Nothing screams rookie like throwing random colors into a design just because they look quote-unquote cool. And here's an example. Imagine designing something for a luxury fashion brand and going ahead with using neon green and bright orange as a primary palette. Not quite the vibe, right? And here's a pro tip. Start by understanding color psychology. For instance, blue conveys trust, red evokes passion, and yellow radiates optimism. And here's a secret hack. Use Adobe Color's Harmonies feature to test combinations that align with your client's values and their respective target audience. And also ask ChatGPT to explain reasoning for using certain palettes for certain audiences. Just like we mentioned that not adapting to new tools is a bad thing, tools like ChatGPT can truly help to save time and also headaches when going through something like color decision processes. But the bottom line is, if your colors confuse instead of communicate properly, your designs won't just fail, they will repel. Let's quickly talk about the basics. As you become an experienced designer, you can start to forget about the basics, right? Wrong. The fundamentals are the backbone of every great design. For example, think about hierarchy. Let's say you're designing a poster for an event. If the event date is hidden in, say, 10-point font at the very bottom of the page, barely anybody will even know when to show up. Sounds basic, but it's important, and it is the basics. But my pro tip is to learn to detect design principles on any design you see, Be it a TV ad, a magazine layout, a logo design, whatever it is, learn to detect how and why these principles have been used. When you ignore the basics, you're not just ruining one design, you're building a shaky foundation for your entire career. And speaking of shaky foundations, let's move on to the next step. When it comes to feedback and critique, some designers treat it like kryptonite. They take it personally, or worse, they ignore it altogether. But here's a truth bomb. Feedback is free education. Let me illustrate how. So, say a client tells you that your design feels too busy. Instead of just brushing it off and getting angry, ask why. You might discover that simplifying the layout could elevate the entire piece of work. But the key thing is to listen objectively to what is being told to you. And so, of course, my pro tip here is to actively seek out feedback from other designers. Not just clients. Platforms like Dribbble or Behance are great, but here's the twist. Don't just upload, also engage. Comment on other people's work and they will reciprocate. Feedback shouldn't be something you fear, and ignoring feedback doesn't just stunt your growth, it makes you unteachable. And if you're unteachable, then your career is already on thin ice. Which brings us onto an even bigger issue, potentially. Designing without a purpose. That's like driving without a destination. You'll get nowhere fast. Every design you create should answer one question. What is the goal or goals? And here's an example. If you're designing an ad for a website or something like that, is the goal to drive clicks, build brand awareness, or just simply spark curiosity? Knowing this simple goal changes everything, from the imagery to the call to action, to the style and general visual communication that you're going to use. And so before starting any project, write down that goal in 1 or 2 sentences somewhere so you can refer back to it. Keep that sentence visible while you work. It's a true game changer. Designing aimlessly isn't the only way to stay invisible in this industry. Let's talk about the final and arguably most devastating mistake. So last but definitely not least, hiding in the shadows. No portfolio, no social presence, no networking. Just hoping clients magically find you somehow. Spoiler alert, that probably, most definitely isn't going to work. Now imagine this. A potential client Googles your name and nothing. No website, no Instagram, no proof of your skills. They're going to hire someone else before you even get a chance, and it's really that simple. And here's my pro tip for this. Start small. If a full portfolio site feels overwhelming, build a single page showcase on Behance or even Canva. And offline, well, attend just one networking event this quarter. Opportunities grow when you're visible. That's just the reality of being a designer. If no one knows who you are, it doesn't matter how good you are as a designer. And if you've ever made one of these mistakes in today's video, don't worry, we've all been there at some point in some way. The key is learning, growing, and evolving. And if this video did help in some way, drop a like on the video and share it with a different or fellow designer. And be sure to continue your graphic design educational journey by clicking that video on screen and subscribing to Satori Graphics. And until next time guys, design your future today. Peace.